morning. This is the first class for the fixed income security. Still the compulsory course for this academic year, but for the new student that will be recruited next year, this course may be changed to be just an optional. I'm not sure whether this is good for you or not. But actually, this is the main area of finance. If you take the MBA program, normally fixed income is just one part in the investment course. However, you take MS finance, so you should know more, right? So we split all of the major area of the finance into different courses: fixed income, derivative, equity, right? Portfolio management. But in MBA, you just take one: portfolio management, equity, fixed income. Everything is just one course. All right, so you need to know more, right? Normally for the flexible time program, we have class on Saturday. However, I have to reschedule the timetable a little bit in order to make sure that we can complete all the class before March, the beginning of March, right? This is because actually the class will be finished just the beginning of February. This is my idea. I'm not sure whether you are okay or you happy with this idea, because otherwise if we drag all the class into the end of the term, everything gonna be due at the end of the term, right? So basically I try to hurry a little bit to finish all the class in February. All right, and then you have time, 1 month, about 1.5 months, to do the assignment, do the final exam or whatever, right? And also for the full time, they have to present the first special project. Okay, so they have more time, to develop the idea for the research. That's why I designed the timetable like this. Okay, and if you have any comment, just let me know. So that is the reason why we have class sometime in Sunday or sometime also in Saturday. For example, you see that we have 3 classes this month, right? This month, today, and then next week we have 2, right? And then I heard that you have some comment. You are talking about the quiz here that, wow, 20%. I think the idea is normally for the final, right? You have 3-hour final exam, and this account for 60%. So I just do the pro rata basis. Basically, this 1 hour, so basically it's just 20%. Okay, and I think it's better because you don't need to memorize all of the content of the topic in order to take all in the final exam. So basically, the first 3 topics will not be appear in the final exam anymore. So basically, the first 3 topics will be asked in the quiz. Okay, the first 3 topics will be asked in the quiz, and then. Okay, some of the knowledge you may need to know in order to understand this, but I'm not going to ask the question about the first 3 topics anymore for the final exam. And one more thing that may help you in order to studying, reading, preparing for the quiz and the final exam, I will allow you to bring all the notes and also the teaching material into the class, into the exam. Okay, so that might reduce the time that you may need to memorize all of the things. But of course, you may need to understand, right? You may need to understand all the content that you learn. Okay, so any question on this?
So it's
the first 3 topics. Then after the weekend, then long weekend, then we have the quiz, right? The quiz will take about 1 hour. there might be some multiple choice exam and also some
แต่ว่าข้อสอบมันต้อง
problem solving exam question,
กดยาก
right? Not only cheat sheet, anything. You just don't allow. You are not allowed to use the mobile phone to more complicate cheat harder. That's all.
Okay, so whatever, just both quiz and external essay, right?
Okay. ไปใช่เนี่ยมาแล้วรู้เลย
Any other question? So basically you can bring anything, okay? Textbook, teaching note, or what else? Alright, the topic, I'll ask some questions, okay then. This question is not just basically just want to know more about you guys, about your background. First, just want to know whether you have you taken this class before. I mean, the class that may relate to this class. I understand that when you are admitted to study this program recommend that you have to enroll in the pre-term course, but some of you may not, right, because it's optional. So just want to know whether you have taken this kind of class before. Okay, can you just submit your answer? Have you used this before? Some of you may have used this before, but some of you, if you're not familiar with this, basically just go to this website, menti.com, and then put the pin 33495. To be honest with your answer, okay?
อีก2 คน
Alright, let's see. Okay, so most of you 20, 30. So you might around 1/3, right? No. Yeah, 1/3, about 1/3, right, of you haven't taken this class, haven't taken this kind of class before. Oh. So you may have to be aware that, okay, you may need to, put more effort, compared to your classmate. Because you need some basic knowledge about the time value of the money and so on. Basic of the valuation. Okay, let me test you with this question. Okay, let me check first. 24, okay, you taken this class. 13, okay. Sorry, I forgot to hide the result. So I cannot believe this result anymore.
มันอยู่ในสูงนะครับไทส์ทำก่อน
Very. My bad, sorry. I forgot to hide the result. Oh.
ใคร
Alright, so hopefully you still, still got something from the class that you have taken before, right? In this class, some of the topic you may get some more advantage if you use a financial calculator, but it's not compulsory, it's up to you. In the exam, of course, the time should be enough, even though you use just the basic scientific calculator. However, I cannot say that, okay, if you use the financial calculator, you may get some more advantage because of it may reduce the time, okay? But also there's some weakness too. Because when you use a financial calculator, I don't know how to come up with the number. So sometimes you get the wrong result. Alright, so that is a problem for using the financial calculator. So there are both pros and cons. It's up to you. Just let you know that, okay, I allow you to use both, financial calculator and also just a scientific calculator. By using the formula, you can also come up with a result too. Alright? Especially for duration convexity, this one maybe, in the financial calculator they provide the function that you can just solve this. Also for the bond valuation. So I can say that for the first three topics, anyone who use the financial calculator may get some more advantage in terms of the time. Alright, but after that, maybe not much. Alright. When you use a financial calculator, make sure that you provide me enough information that I understand why you come up with this number. Okay, for example, you should just give me the information like, okay, what function you use and what is the input of the number for each parameter or variable. Okay. That's all I think. The textbook, actually I use both. The reason that I recommend the Fabossi text for you guys that you get the textbook from the program, right? The reason that I use the first one, Fabossi bond market analysis, because this is the hard copy one, not the soft file. I guess again that you may prefer the hard copy rather than the soft file. Okay, otherwise for the petite, this is a CMA textbook. Actually, Fabossi also wrote the second edition of this one, but for the third one, eventually Fabossi, he hasn't written the third edition, and then CFA just assign someone to write the CFA textbook. So in this class we use both, but the one that I recommend for you is just the first one. And because of the international edition, it's just only available for 2013. Actually, there is a new edition, but it's just a slightly different. And there is no the international edition, so the price is very expensive. For this one, for the hard copy, also very expensive, around $100, I think. So I think the program don't have enough budget either to buy this for you. However, for the for the ebook, I think it's around $1,500. I can't remember the price for the ebook. But actually, ebook for this one is also quite convenient. I mean, you can search, you can do the highlight, and so on too. So it's up to you, and it will be with you. I just knew that, okay, for this one, if you buy the ebook, it will be with you forever, because as long as you still can remember the account, okay, even you change the device, you change the computer, you just reinstall, everything will be back. Okay, that's also convenient too. Okay, for this one. But eventually I decided to buy the first one for you. Alright, that's all. In the class, I will provide some more, supplementary. I will upload into the Blackboard website, and also as you can see that okay, I use a mentimeter.com in order to interact with you guys. Sometimes I put some question and then just want to know whether you understand, how much you understand the topic. Then I will put some question, ask you some question too. Okay. For the first class, basically is just provide some big picture. Okay, just some feature of the bond for anyone who haven't taken this class before, and also provide some more variety of the feature. Anyway, in the class, in the later classes, we will discuss a bit more. Okay. As you may know that for the corporation, right, look at the balance sheet or the financial statement of position, right? The left hand side is the asset, right? Right hand side, liability plus equity. For the corporation, there are two sources of the fund, liability and equity. So corporation can raise the fund by borrowing, right? One type of the borrowing is basically they can issue the bond, right? We call corporate bond because it's issued by the corporation. However, for the financial company, it's maybe the opposite, right? For the financial company, they can also raise the fund by issue the bond. In the same time, they can also invest in the financial security. They can invest in the bond too, right? In other issued by other company. Right, so for the financial asset or financial security, it's just one type of the asset. It's how this security or asset different from the real asset or physical asset. In the past, of course, when we talk about the corporation, okay, the company, what are the core assets for the company? Physical asset. Right, physical asset, machinery, equipment, factory, right? They invest in this in order to generate the product, the goods, and then sell this good to generate the revenue for the corporation. However, for this century, I'm not sure whether, for the new technology, for the technology industry, for example, Apple, do you think Apple invests in any physical asset? Maybe just a little. But they invest a little heavily in the R&D, right? But I think they just ask someone to produce the product for them, right? They haven't done it by themselves. I'm not sure whether about this. So, but basically, you just need to have the innovation, and then just can ask someone to do this for you. So, for the technology industry, maybe they may not need to invest in the physical asset, but they may need to invest in the R&D or innovation. Anyway, for bond, or this is one type of the financial security, it can be shown in the asset if that company invests in other invest in bond issued by other company. In the same time, corporation or financial company can also raise the fund by issue the bond too, right? For the financial asset or financial security, basically this security basically just the documents, right? This document provides some obligation or some claim that provide you with some expectation what you're gonna get from having this security, right? For example, you have stock, you know that okay, if you hold a stock, you expect to get some profit sharing from the company. As an owner, as a shareholder, as an owner, you expect to get some profit sharing from the company by paying the dividend. Right? For the bond, you are the lender, and the firm issue the bond are the borrower. Right? You expect to get some interest and also principal repayment in the future, right? Here's just an example of the corporate bond issue in Thailand. Okay, this is Thai Oil. Okay, petrochemical industry, petrochemical firm. Everyone know this company, right? Thai Oil. The code, it's just like stock. Normally in Thailand, all bond must be registered with the Thai Bond Market Association, and each bond would have the symbol just like the stock. First, it starts from the symbol for the company. Just very, actually, I can say it's just the same, like like the symbol in the stock exchange. If this firm are listed company, for this one Thai Oil TOP top, this is the symbol for this stock too, right, in the stock exchange of Thailand. And then followed by the year of the maturity. 24 is stand for 2024. This bond gonna be mature. That means the firm will pay back the principal to the bondholder or to the lender. And then followed by 3 is the month. Okay, basically this bond gonna be mature on March 2024. This is the maturity date. Okay, the maturity date is the date that this bond become mature at the end, and then firm must pay back the principal to the bondholder. Okay, so TOP 24 is 2024. 3, okay, it stands for the month. It stands for month of the year, March. And then A is just, sometimes the firm issue the bond for many times in a year for that maturity. So there may be A, B, C. For A is the first issue for that maturity. Okay. What else? You can see that actually we'll talk about this later too. The par value, right? The par value, as you have learned in the pre-term before or in the corporate finance class before. Par value basically is the value per unit of the bond, right? Suppose you have 1 million baht to buy the bond. Just like you buy the lottery, you know that, okay, if you buy one lottery, you get this amount, right? Or you buy the, what else? GSB Omsin, a kind of lottery saving, also the same, right? Okay, you know that 1 unit is 500 baht. So if you have 1 million, how many units you get? Same idea here that, okay, if you have 1 million, the par value is 1,000, so 1 million you can buy 1,000 units of bond. Okay? This is the size of the issue, 7,000 million baht. Okay? However, the distribution, this one is not IPO, it's the PP1. The private placement means that this bond issue and then just by invitation, basically just some small group of the investor are eligible to buy this bond. Not all investors can buy the bond, not IPO. You can see that the private placement of 13 type of institutional investor. Okay, by law, there will be the list of the type of the institutional investor and also the high net worth investor too. Okay, if you rich enough, you have 50 million baht with the financial corporation, then you may be eligible to invest in this bond as well. Okay, what else? Calculation method. This is the way to calculate the interest. We'll talk about this later to just give you some idea of this. 30, it means the number of days of the month. In this bond, it will be assumed that for each month there will be 30 days. Because of that, 1 year there will be 360 days. We ignore the actual number of days in the month, in the year. We just assume that 1 month equal to 30 days. 1 year equal to 360 days. This assumption will be applied when we calculate the interest payment, the coupon payment for paying to the bondholder. As you can see here that the issue date is 12th of March 2014. And this bond pay the coupon or the interest every 6 months. Okay, so next coupon, the 6 month will be on 12th of September 2014, right? This is the issue date, okay? You get the bond, and then next payment, the next interest payment, we call coupon, will be on 12th of September 2014. So how many interest that you get, how many baht that you get from this bond for 1 unit? Basically, you have to count number of days, but because of they assume, let's say, simply assume that, okay, 1 month equal to 30 days. So this is very simple. You don't need to count, okay, for the 12 March to 12 April is how many days? No, because they use this assumption. However, there might be some different, okay, assumption. For example, actual 2000, they might assume 1 month equal to the actual number of days in a month too. So it depends on the bond. Okay, I'll talk about this later. This is just one type. The easiest way is just assume that, okay, 1 month equal to 30 days. However, some bond may use different. Okay, actual, and then one year equal to 365 days, something like this too. This will affect how to calculate the interest for each payment, because the first half of the year and the second half of the year may have number of days may not the same, right? So this would affect the way to calculate the interest. Credit rating, okay, this bond is got AA minus from Fitch rating. Okay, this is a date that they got the rating. Okay, this is just some more information about this bond. Here is the quotation on 2016. You can see that the bidding price, this is the old information. I checked again, they don't have this information anymore in the Thai Oil website. You can see that the price of this bond, the bidding price is 1105, greater than 1000. And this is the offer price, 1109. Sometimes it's quite confusing because you see that the bidding price is the price that investor want to buy the bond, right? Offer price is the price that investor want to sell the bond. You can see that the yield, okay, higher than this one, the bidding price. This is the offer price, offer yield. Actually, these two just related, right? Actually, one, you can estimate the other, right? So the bidding price must be lower than the offer price, 1105, 1109, because the price is lower, so the yield is higher. Okay, just based on the question that I just asked you, right? So lower yield, higher price. Okay. This is the information on 23rd of September 2016. I check again on January 2017. The yield is 3.43. This is the trading yield, 3.43 on January 2017. This is about 3.2. The coupon rate is 4.8, right? But basically, the market interest rate declined since the issue date. So the bond price increased because of the market interest rate decreased. Bond price increased about 100 baht per unit. What about now for this bond? Check. This is quite useful. This is provide a useful information. Okay, this website you can actually get or obtain any information that you need to know. Okay, you can search if you know the symbol. Okay, right now, okay, the last trade date is 27. Just look, unlike the stock, right? Normally bond trading is not frequent like the stock. So you can see that last trading day is 27 November 2017. And the yield decreased to 2.7. So the bond price decreased comparing to this one. This is just 3, right? So right now the price is even higher than 1,100. Okay. This is the market yield right now, a bit lower than the last trading day. From 27 November, the yield is 2.7. Right now it's a bit lower, but still no trading, just the indication yield, okay, the indicative yield. And the price about 112. This is normally when we quote the price. Actually, I'll talk about this later. Normally, when we quote the price, we quote as a percentage of the par value. So in this case, this is 112% of the par. So the price, you have to multiply this with the par value. So the price is equal to 1122.4. Okay. Okay. Fixed income, just give you some the formal definition of the fixed income. Normally, fixed income, we can use other terms like the debt security or the bond. So these 3 terms basically we can use interchangeably. Debt security or the fixed income is just the security that provide the investor who buy this security are the lender, right? And the firm or organization who issue this security are the borrower. So the return received from this kind of the security is in the form of the interest that we call coupon. Then we're gonna learn it later. Also, if you sell the bond before the maturity, before the end of the bond, then you may get the capital gain or capital loss due to the price that you sell may be higher or lower than the price that you buy. Okay, this one is similar to the stock. However, if you buy and hold the bond until the maturity, you get the principal, okay, back from the bond issuer, right? And during your holding this security, you get the payment in terms of the interest. Comparing the risk, okay, between stock and the bond, I have to specifically say that when we compare this bond and the stock, we compare this when they issue from the same organization, from the same firm. Okay, suppose Thai Oil issue bond and issue stock. Of course, investor who buy the bond face lower risk than the investor who buy the stock issued by Thai Oil. However, if bond and the stock issue from different organization or entity, we cannot compare, right? Because sometimes, for example, last year or actually this year, right? Some company, right, Earth. Some of you who invest in the stock, you may know this company, right? Earth or EFORL or what else? They default they cannot pay back the loan or pay back the debt for the investor who buy the short-term bond, right? If you, that's called BE, right? Bill of exchange. Actually, it's the short-term bond. Basically, this is also, you can see that it's higher risk than the stock, because the stock still, trade, but eventually that bond already cannot pay you the principal anymore, right? So in that case, default risk is already happened, and then the investor face that risk. Anyway, for the shareholder, even if you can sell it late early, you may get something. However, what about the debt holder, the investor who hold the BE? They have to negotiate with the firm, right? And eventually you have to check about the priority in order to claim on this, the asset of the firm later, whether how much they will get from selling or liquidate the asset in order to pay back the loan or pay back the BE. Okay. It just provides some the differences between stock and bond. I already mentioned about, just one thing that I maybe forgot to tell you, that why bondholder have lower risk than the stockholder. This is the basic idea. When you learn finance, you just know that when we invest in the stock, you face higher risk because the priority in order to receive the return, you are the last one. Stockholder, as a shareholder or stockholder, you get the last priority to receive the return. As I mentioned in the previous slide, that bondholder, they can ask the court either to force the company to liquidate asset, and the proceeds from selling the asset have to pay to the bondholder first. And then we have to check who get the first priority. Among the bondholder may have different priority to senior, non-senior, right? However, for the shareholder, last one. Okay, the last group of the investor who get or who receive the return. When the firm still run the business, normally stockholder also the last one too, right? Firm have to pay interest first, and then if the firm have enough profit, then firm pay the dividend, right? I already mentioned about this. When the firm issue the stock, this is the long-term financing. Actually, we can say permanent form of financing, no expiration. Okay, the good thing of issue the stock is that it can reduce the financial risk for the company, right? But if the firm use the debt by issue the bond, this may increase more financial risk for the company, because firm has obligation to pay the interest, pay the principal back to the investor. Okay. This is just the trade-off. Because of the stock has higher risk, of course they may also get higher possibility to get a higher return too. And because the bond has lower risk, so they get the lower return too. Okay. That's why there is the term, right? High risk, high required rate of return, or high expected return. Here are some features that we going to talk. Okay, issuer, term to maturity, principal. Some of these we may talk a little. Okay, already. Who can issue bond? You can see that it can be, we call the supranational organization, World Bank, European Investment Bank, or the government, the national. We call this bond as the sovereign bond. Okay, sovereign bond. The sovereign bond, it can be in the domestic currency, or it can be foreign exchange, some other currency too. Okay, for example, if Japanese government issue the sovereign bond in the US currency, so it's called samurai bond. I'm not sure whether you have this. Have you heard about this? Okay, so the sovereign government or sovereign bond issued by the national government. Okay, if the bond issued in the domestic currency, so they may have very low default risk or bankruptcy risk because the government as an issuer should be able to pay back the principal and the interest to the bondholder, right? However, for sovereign bond that issue in the different currency, okay, this may face even higher than default risk, right, comparing to domestic currency. This is maybe in case of Greece, might be exceptional, okay, exceptional because European country sometimes in that case they may not be able to service the debt. Okay. State-owned, this is for US. In Thailand, we cannot, the local government still cannot or not allowed to issue the bond, right? However, in the US, the city or local government can issue the bond too. State-owned enterprise also issue the bond, can also issue the bond too. For example, CAT, TOT, company, okay, financial company can also issue, non-financial company. Right. Time to maturity, I already mentioned about this. Basically, it's the bond life, right? When the firm issue the bond, and then, okay, when the time passed, the time to maturity would be approached to the time passed, the maturity going to be shorter and shorter, right? The maturity date basically just the day that the firm or the issuer pay back the principal. Right? Time to maturity or term to maturity or tenure, this is basically the bond life. Okay? Time remaining until maturity date. In order to define whether this is a short-term bond or long-term bond, we use 1 year as a cut-off. Okay? For bond that has the time to maturity less than 1 year, this is called the short-term bond. Okay? For example, we call T-bill. You may have heard about T-bill, right? Treasury bill. The bond issued by basically the Ministry of Finance issued this, and this bond have the maturity less than 1 year. We call treasury bill. Bond issued by the government that has a maturity longer than 1 year, we may call treasury, non-treasury bonds. Okay, we're gonna talk about this later. Basically, in this case, we just define short-term bond, okay, bond with the maturity less than 1 year, and bond with the maturity greater than 1 year. The market, if we define the market, they trade the short-term bond in the money market and the long-term bond in the capital market. For the stock, that is the permanent form of financing. Also, because it's a long-term financing, so the stock also trade in the capital market too. So the stock exchange of Thailand, we can say that, okay, stock exchange of Thailand is one type of the capital market. Okay. I'm not sure. Let me just talk at this line. As you know that normally when we classify market, we can classify market in different aspects. In this case, we classify market based on the life of the security, right? For the short-term security, like the short-term bond is traded in the money market. BE, okay, bill of exchange, short-term bond, one time short-term bond also trade in the money market too. And for the money market, it's unlike the capital market. So money market, most of the trading is occur in the OTC market, over-the-counter market. when classify market based on whether they are OTC, over the counter, or exchange. It's just a platform how to trade the security, right? For the exchange, the platform for trading is you submit the order to the computer, right? To the computer, and then there will be the algorithm to match the buy and sell order. But for the money market, basically, for the OTC, the over-the-counter market, this market, the platform to trade between the trader is just one-to-one. Unlike the capital market that can be, many to many, right? One-to-one means that, okay, if you want to, just like the Thai oil bond, how to get that information, the trading of the bond. Basically, okay, one financial company make a call to other one, whether you have Thai oil that mature on 2024, I'm interested to buy, I want to buy at this yield, are you interested to sell? This is a way to trade in the OTC, okay, by using just the call, or maybe some other platform, but it's just one-to-one, okay. So money market, most of the trading is occur in the OTC. Okay, like Siam Commercial Bank want to borrow just 100 million baht from Bangkok Bank, they just make a call. That's all. Perpetuity bond, this is just one special type of the bond. For this kind of bond, they will not pay the principal. Investor will receive the return in form of the interest. However, this interest will be paid to the investor forever. No principal pay back to the investor. However, the investor will receive the return in the form of interest forever. So this bond, no maturity date. Investor will receive this return forever. Anyone who took the pre-term exam, I may tell you about this already. That okay, this kind of bond, you get a return every year until forever, but you will not get the principal back. Okay. This is a kind of the perpetuity problem solving. In Thailand right now, I think there are 2 companies already issue this kind of bond. However, it's even more complex because they put some other option or feature into the bond too. It's not just straight perpetual bond. Okay? I think the first company that issued this kind of bond is IVL, Indorama Petrochemical Company. The last one is, if I'm not wrong, I think CPO, right? CPO also issued this kind of bond too. But they put some other feature in the bond like the call option and so on. I'll talk about this later, about the call option. Par value, I already mentioned about this. It's just the value per unit of the bond. Okay. Normally, the default par value is equal to 1,000 baht. Also, in other countries, also use the same. Okay, 1,000 US dollars. Don't get confused with the minimum purchase. It's just another thing. Suppose that okay, they allow you to buy. Suppose you want to buy the bond. Par value is 1,000. However, you cannot just simply buy 1,000 baht. They might set the minimum purchase like 50,000 baht. So basically, you need to buy 50 units at least, something like this. Okay. All right, and as I mentioned, normally when you submit the bidding or offering price for the bond, the quoted price would be the percentage of the par value, as I mentioned. So if your quoted price is 96, it means that the price is 96% of the par value. So if the par is 10,000, then the quoted price is 9,600. Okay, in the previous example, I already showed you that. For the Thai oil, the quoted price is 112%, okay, of the par 1,000. You have seen that the bond price in the secondary market. I forgot to tell you that normally when the bond firstly issued from the company or from the organization, the bond will be set, the bond price will be set equal to the par, right? Equal to the par. However, after that, okay, when the when the bond trading in the secondary market, the bond price can be lower or higher than the par value. As you have seen in the case of Thai oil, right? The price is about 1,100. This is because of the market interest rate decline and the price increase. So in this case, the bond price is trading at higher than the par. This is called the premium, right? Selling at premium. When the market interest rate increase and the bond price decrease, then the bond price will be traded at discount. Okay. So the discount means selling price or trading price is lower than the par. The coupon rate and frequency. Okay. One thing that you need to know, normally the coupon rate would be quoted per year. However, the frequency might be more than once a year. Okay, so what is the amount of coupon payment per period? So you have to convert, okay, the coupon rate that is quoted per year to be per periodic rate, right? For example, if the par is 1,000, 6% here is the per year, 6% per year, but the bond pay semi-annually. So for each payment, it's going to be 3% per 6 months, and then multiply by the coupon, the par value. Okay. So every 6 months, investor will receive $30 per 1 unit of the bond. Okay, just one thing that you need to remember. Normally, coupon rate is set per year. Normally, interest set per year, and then you have to check how often the interest will be paid, right? And then you convert the interest per year into the periodic rate. Type of the coupon, zero coupon bond fixed rate. In Thailand right now, we have zero coupon fixed rate. It's just a common one that most of the corporation use, right? Fixed rate mean the fixed interest rate that will be paid from the bond, right? Step up, some of the bond also pay step up too. But for the FRN, quite a few, but some, okay? We have some firm also issue the FRN or floating rate. What does it mean? It means that this bond will pay the interest rate based on the market interest rate. When the market interest rate increase, bond pay higher interest. When the market interest rate decrease, bond pay lower. Defer. Okay, we talk about this. Okay, one by one. Zero coupon. Okay, this bond basically does not pay any interest. Does not pay any interest. So investor will receive the return in terms of the capital gain. So this bond basically will be traded at the discount, okay, and then you receive the principal equal to the par value. So the return or the interest that you earn basically is the form of the difference between the principal or the par minus the purchase price that is always discount or lower than the par. Okay. This kind of bond, the zero coupon bond, normally are short-term bond like T-bill. Okay. This kind of bond you have because of their short term though. So normally they don't want to make it too complicated to pay the interest. So they just don't pay the, I have to say, don't pay the coupon, but the interest is in the form of the capital gain. The price that you buy is always lower than the principal or the par value. Okay. Fixed rate. Okay, this is very common one, right? Bond promise to pay the interest equal to some certain percent, 4%, 5%, and you, investor will receive the interest of the coupon equal this rate, okay, until the maturity. This is sometimes called plain vanilla bond, or conventional bond, or straight bond. Because you haven't taken the derivative one, right? The derivative cost. In the derivative cost, sometimes we also call, some basic derivative as a plain vanilla too. So the term plain vanilla basically just means something that is quite simple. Floating rate note or floater. Okay, as I mentioned, this one is issuer set the interest based on some market interest rate. So basically, this bond must set the reference rate for this bond. Okay, and this bond, because the interest is set equal to the reference rate. When the market interest rate change, the bond also pay at that rate too. Okay. This is just the term. We can use the term floater or floating rate note or variable rate. The bond may pay equal to some reference rate plus or minus the spread or the margin. Just like you borrow the money from the bank, right? Any one of you who buy the house, you may be familiar that okay, bank charge you equal to MLR minus or plus some spread. Same idea here. Issuer will pay the interest, okay, equal to some certain reference rate. And this reference rate will change or adjust based on the market interest rate. And then may have some plus or minus spread. Here are some examples of the reference rate. Okay. LIBOR is the most common one for the international bond. For the international bond, LIBOR is the one that used quite often. And for anyone, okay, who borrow the money in the US dollar term, also, borrowing rate, LIBOR also used is quite common to use the LIBOR as a borrowing rate too. LIBOR is just stand for London Interbank Offer Rate. Because London is the center of the foreign exchange market, very big market. So the bank in London can borrow lend in different currency, not only pound, but in any currency, Thai baht, Euro dollar, Japanese dollar, any currency. So in London market, they can provide the lending rate, borrowing rate for different currency too. So that's why LIBOR can be used to reflect the market interest rate in different currency. So you have to make sure that okay, LIBOR is just the reference, but you have to check what currency too, right? US dollar LIBOR, Euro dollar LIBOR, Japanese yen LIBOR, something like this. And also there is different term from 1 day overnight to 1 year. Okay, so the reference rate must be specific about the term too. What is the reference rate that will be used in order to pay as a reference rate to pay the coupon? 6 month LIBOR, 3 month LIBOR. Okay, because different rate may have different interest, right? Number. Okay, other market also provide the reference rate to Euribor and Euribor. This is a Euro, can't remember the full name. This is a Euro market one. Also provide some other currency to HBOR Hong Kong and SIBOR Singapore. Okay, this is BIBOR only Thai baht, and this is Thai baht fixed. I will explain a bit more later. Okay. So here market, this market provides some reference rate for the foreign currency, not Thai baht. For Thai baht, for corporation who issue the floating rate note or floating rate bond, they may use Thai baht fixed or BIBOR as a reference rate. Okay. Spread can be 1%, 2%. However, if the unit is smaller than 1%, they may use the new unit called basis point. Okay, 100 basis point equal to 1%. Okay, now I'll show you some actual example of Thai market. Here's some example of the bond that issue the floater or floating rate note, floating rate bond. This is the anyone who trade in stock, you may be familiar with this company, right? Real estate property, real estate developer, right? Ananda. Yeah. This would be mature on 16, but it's quite different format. Actually, there should be one more number here. Okay, the bond, this bond pay. Okay, step up to and then combine many features. Step up and also the floating to between this period. Okay, pay at 8.5%. Between this period, pay at average government yield 5 year plus 7.26%. After this period, until this period, pay 8.01%. The spread is different, but the reference rate is still the same. Okay. Pay every 3 months. Oh. Bank of Thailand, CIMB also issue this floater too. Thai baht fixed 6 months plus. You can see that this is a reference rate. You have to specify the term to 6 months. Okay. Thai baht fixed BIBOR on there 3 months. Okay. Normally this would be consistent with the frequency of the coupon payment normally, because this bond pay the coupon every 6 months semi-annually, so they use 6 months Thai baht fixed. For over there, they pay the interest or coupon every 3 months. They use the reference rate for 3 months BIBOR. Okay. So what is the Thai baht fix? What is Thai baht fix? Actually, you can Google to check whether the Thai baht fix is what the Thai baht fix is. In order to understand Thai baht fix, you have to understand forward rate, FX forward rate. Okay, so I'll explain this again when we learn about some, idea about the FX forward rate or some, not sure whether you, maybe next term, right? You're going to take the derivative, then you understand this. Okay, just give you some idea about the Thai baht fix. Thai baht fix basically is just the implied interest rate estimated from the interest rate parity between the two currencies. So, not sure this is help to understand the Thai baht fix. Okay. However, this is represent the demand supply of the money in different periods. That's why normally this one is quite popular in order to use as the reference rate. BIBOR basically is just the interbank borrowing rate or lending rate between the bank. Okay. Normally, every bank, okay, in the morning they will submit, okay, what is the rate that you're happy to lend or borrow in different terms, 1 day, overnight, or 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Just put in the Reuters. Reuters will obtain all the information and then report or show in your Reuters terminal, Reuters icon. Okay, Reuters don't have any data, but as a dealer in different banks, submit this information into the system. Okay, maturity. As I mentioned, reference rate, normally you have the term from 1 day, the overnight, to 1 year. Spread, already mentioned about this. Some bond, this is not common. They may set some cap or floor. What does it mean, cap or floor? Cap means that when the floating rate is high and high, however, the bond will pay at some maximum number. This is a cap. Okay. For the floor, it means that when the floating rate, okay, decrease lower than some certain level, the bond will pay not lower than that level. Will be fixed at the floor rate. For example, like this, coupon rate equal to minimum number between 9% and 6-month LIBOR plus 70 basis points. So suppose that 6-month LIBOR is equal to 9%. So the minimum number between 9 and 9 plus 70 basis point or 9.7. So this one is lower, so the bond will pay at this number. Okay? Like this. But suppose that the LIBOR rate lower than, suppose the LIBOR rate is 5%, so the number will be 5 plus 70, right? So it's 5.7. The minimum between these two will be 5.7. Okay. Okay, for the coupon rate, this is quite unlike the fixed rate. In order to determine the next coupon payment, the reference rate will be set at the beginning of the period. For example, suppose that okay, you are at June, okay. What is the next coupon payment in December, on December? So you have to observe the LIBOR on June for the 6-month LIBOR plus 150 basis point at June, and this rate will be used in order to estimate the next coupon payment on December. Okay, so on December you can observe 6-month LIBOR, and that rate on December 6 months will be used for paying the next coupon payment on June next year, like this. Okay. Step up, you have seen some example of the step up already, right? Basically, the fixed rate is changed over time, right? Even though they pay the fixed rate, but this fixed rate is not the same for the whole period. Like this, you can see that for year 1, just pay 6.05, year 2, 6.5, year 3, 7%. Okay, this is step up. Okay. Deferred coupon. Deferred coupon, this type of the coupon payment is designed for some certain issuer that may have some, the cash constraint or the liquidity constraint. like the issuer who have very poor credit rating, and they may have to conserve the cash for the operation, and with the hope that okay, in the next few years the situation may be a bit better, and then they can service the payment, service the debt payment. So for some certain period, okay, of the time, this bond may pay nothing, may pay zero interest for some certain period, and then pay more after. For example, like this, for 10-year bond, okay, for the first 4 years may pay nothing, zero. You don't get anything for it for the first 4 years, and then you get a bit more, 10% for the next 6 years, 10% per year for the next 6 years. Okay, so issuer may use this kind of the coupon type. The target may be the issuer who have a poor credit rating, or another type is going to be issuer may set up the project financing. What does it mean? You raise the fund to invest in one project. Suppose that you are the government, okay? The government want to raise the fund for the high-speed train support. And during the project development, maybe for the first 2, 3 years, 4 years, it's still in the process of the construction. There is no cash generating during this process, during this period. So this bond will not pay anything. And then after the project complete and operate, then the project may generate enough cash in order to pay back the bondholder. Okay, so this type of the project also may possible to use this kind of the coupon payment too. Okay. This one is quite interesting, but I have heard about this long time ago. I have heard about this kind of instrument called inverse floater. When I was studying master degree in 1997, okay, 1997. Actually, a bit about few years earlier than that. One local government in the U.S. called Orange County. I'm not sure whether you have heard this. Orange County is the luxury community. Okay, normally this city, most of them they are very rich. However, the city they use the tax, they receive the tax, and then they use the cash of the local government invested in this kind of security called inverse floater. However, the trader of the government, this city government, they take the view in the wrong direction. They expect that the interest is going to decrease. However, the interest is going in the opposite direction. As you can see here, that the inverse floater, as indicated by name, right? The inverse floater will pay the interest, in the form of some fixed rate minus the floating rate, like this. So the coupon rate from this bond gonna be high when the floating rate decrease. But when the floating rate increase, the coupon rate received from this bond gonna be low. Okay. So this bond, depends on the market interest rate, LIBOR, whether it's going to increase or decrease. Okay. So when you buy this bond, you expect that the rate is going to decrease and you get higher interest rate. Okay. But if the interest rate, market interest is going in the opposite, then you get the lower return. credit link, this one, okay, just make a bit more complicated. The coupon rate will be linked to some certain number, the index. It can be anything. For example, index link, credit link. Okay, the credit link means the coupon is tied to the credit rating. If the firm got the upgrade, okay, you get the higher coupon rate when the bond downgrade. You get the lower coupon when the bond get upgrade. Okay, index link, it can be the inflation link coupon. Okay, this one is also a good idea because, as you know that when the inflation is high, your purchasing power is low, right? Because the living expense tend to higher, right? So this kind of bond, you pay you more when the inflation is higher, you get higher return too, you get higher coupon rate too. But the inflation is low, you get lower coupon. Okay. For the last one, for the poor credit rating, firm that have very high leverage. Instead of paying the coupon or interest in the form of the cash, they pay in other form of the return, like pay more stock for you, give the stock for you, instead of the cash. Okay. That's why we call pay in kind coupon, because they don't pay you the cash interest. Currency can be, normally in Thailand we pay in the Thai baht, right? But some other bond may pay in different currency. Even you can choose, okay, dual or currency option bond. Okay, dual means coupon pay in one currency, principal pay in another one. Option means you can choose whether you want to receive the return in any currency. Okay, one of the two, like this. Okay, let's take a break and then we will come back.